Hello! It's Tiffany from Rattle the Stars Studio, and today we're going to talk about my Victorian Donald Duck. This is such a fun costume. I feel gorgeous and like a fluffy duck in it, and it was born out of kind of a joke that my husband and I had when he was playing through Kingdom Hearts 3, and we were looking at all their characters, and we do this thing where he will give me a character and then ask me what time period I would put them in if I was going to cosplay them, and Donald just felt Victorian. I mean, duck butt. So it finally happened. This is Kingdom Hearts 3, Donald Duck as a fancy Victorian lady. So let's go through the different pieces and how I made them. The first thing you have to start with any Victorian costume is the undergarments. And the corset, chemise, and bloomers are all the same that I wear with my Aziraphale costume. So if you want to know more about those, you can check out that How I Made It video. So those were out of the way, but I needed a petticoat and a bustle. So I decided to use a truly Victorian pattern. I actually use truly Victorian for everything except the hat. So this is TV 101. It is a bustle petticoat. So the petticoat and the bustle are in one piece, which you can see what it looks like in the getting dressed video, but it's just made out of white cotton, and it has 4 bones in it, which you then tie on the underside to give it that curved shape. Next is this skirt. So this I call my main skirt or my underskirt. I used TV 201 to make it. I did this version with the ruffle, which really is just the ruffle is added on top of the main skirt. So I did the skirt in a polyester shantung. Shantung's one of my favorite fabrics, but budget did not allow for silk shantung, so polyester shantung it is. I really like the texture and the body that it has. Then the ruffle is just a knife pleated strip that is hemmed and sewn on. It is also out of a yellow polyester shantung. On top of that, I did ribbon trim. So what I did is what's called a center stitched box pleat. So I box pleated 2-inch wide ribbon and sewed it down the center, and then I folded the center in and sewed it down and put a little bead inside. So this is my matching mask because we live in times of COVID and it's important to have a mask even when you're out in costume. But this is the same trim that I use. So you can see it's just a center box pleat, and then I just tack down the middle of the box pleat and added a bead. So it adds a really great texture and fluffiness and a little sparkle. But Donald Duck isn't a very flamboyant character in terms of dress, so I wanted something that would give me that Victorian floof, but would still match Donald, so that's what I went with. Next is my apron skirt, or you might call it a draped overskirt, a bustle skirt, whatever. I call it an apron skirt because it feels like an apron to me, but I use TV 303. It's the side drape overskirt. So as you can see, the front is kind of swooped up, and then the side has this draping here. It also has this piece that falls down in the back. I'm trying to do this while looking in the video and it's not working. So it just drapes down. It adds some more of that duck butt floofiness. And then I edged it exactly the same way that I did the skirt. I just made my knife pleat section much smaller, but the box pleats are still the same ribbon and beads. So I edged all of that and have this lovely floofy bottom part, or duck butt as I keep calling it. Next is the top. So Donald has this these deep pieces that come out. He has these zippers that go up. He has a lot of colors going on, which I will attempt to put a picture on the screen. So hopefully that's here right now. But for the shirt, I once again used a truly Victorian pattern. It is TV 405. What really drew me to this pattern is that it already had these deep pieces, which was the part that I was most concerned about having for Donald. So what was really nice is that was already part of the pattern. Now I once again used a polyester shantung, but I do have a blue quilting cotton for the lining. It is buttoned with fully self-covered buttons. The piping is the same yellow as the skirt decoration. And then I also made piping out of the lighter blue shantung. This is a piece of, for you to know, piping, while you can buy piping cord that is meant to go inside piping, I used what I had in my stash, and these are all piped with shoelaces that I had, really long shoelaces from something previously in my stash. So, pro tip for you. Now, to represent his zipper, I wanted a trim because, again, I was taking this into Victorian. I didn't necessarily want zippers just set in my bodice. So this is a trim that I put on top. It is the Flying Geese trim. So basically you make a bunch of knife pleats and then you fold down the corners to make a V, and then you tack the V down. So as you can see, probably better on my hat, it's just a knife pleat and then you fold and tack those down. And then I just stitched it in the center down the bodice, and it goes into my shoulder seam and it comes down to these tassels, which are acting as the zipper pulls. So that's where we are. It has a lovely drape in the back. I will say that I made quite a few mock-ups of this shirt. I am very short-waisted. I'm just a very petite person. And so I had to take a lot of length out of this shirt. So I think I took a total of 3 inches out of the waist length. But then I also had to take length out up here at the chest and shoulders because of how petite that I am. So do make a mock-up, make many mock-ups, make 17 mock-ups, however many you need. Also, because I was fitting myself, I had to kind of do my mock-ups in stages and my alterations in stages. So the first mock-up I made was really focused on this length because this part of the bodice should hit at your natural waistline. That's the goal. So I took about 3 inches out here, and I had to do a completely new mock-up after that alteration because I couldn't figure out anything else that was going on until I had the waist sitting in the right spot. Once I got the waist in the right spot, I realized that this upper portion was still too long and too big. So I had to take distance out of that. So mock-ups are key for this. So the last piece of things that I made for the specific outfit portion is the hat. Donald's actual hat is kind of like a sailor hat meets a beanie, something going on. I can't really tell. It's very floppy. It's the same blue. It's covered in all these zippers. It's an obnoxious hat, but I needed a hat. I wanted something that would fit the time period, but still feel like him, and I needed that zipper detail to come back. So I have made like 2 hats in my entire life. I don't really know hats. I don't know much about hats. I figured I would help myself out, and Joann's was having a pattern sale. So I found this McCall's pattern. It's M8076. I got it for $2 because they were doing a pattern sale. fine. Do I highly recommend this? No. I think you would probably be better off finding a legitimately historical recreation hat pattern. I know there's quite a few places out there, but budget and time and Corona meant the McCall's pattern. I honestly don't hate it. I kind of like it once I'm in everything with the wig and everything that's going on. I love the big bows. It really makes me feel fancy and floofy, even though there's not that much on the hat. There's a lot more glue in it than I would ideally want, but you know, you live, you learn. The pattern said to glue it, so who am I to question them? I didn't particularly love the hat until I saw it with everything, so if you are making a hat, I recommend trying it on with everything because you might feel different about the hat once you see the full outfit. I certainly did. My wig I have styled up basically in big pile of curls, and you can check out my wig video to see how I did that. Final touches was some jewelry. I have these earrings and this choker. It's Amazon bridal costume jewelry. Honestly, I just looked for something that was in a gold yellow color scheme and looked sort of like it could have been in the time period. Honestly, it's not perfect, but it reminded me a lot of the Dames a la Mode jewelry, which unfortunately is out of my budget at the moment. I wish I could have bought her stuff, but this Amazon costume jewelry works great for what I need. And honestly, I think the jewelry really makes it. I just love the glitter and sparkle that it adds to it. So that is my Donald Duck cosplay. I did go ahead and make myself a little fan. Just took a cheap fan, glued the fabric on there, gave it some lace. I live in the South and it gets hot, so a fan is always a good accessory to have. And that's Donald Duck. It was a lot of fun to make. I really took my time on this project, and I think it shows a lot in the construction and the fit and how I feel about the final end result. There were a lot of things that were brand new to me, such as fitting Victorian bodices, making all this trim, doing all of these tiny details that just really added up and makes the costume feel so complete. I had never done covered buttons before, so that was fun and new and really easy. So I think I'm going to do a lot more of those in the future. Anyways, that is how I made my Donald Duck. And I hope you found this interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about these patterns specifically, I'm happy to answer them, since these are the ones that I have used and I know. If you have any Kingdom Hearts cosplays, please tell me. I would love to see them and gush over them with you. The game is really fun. I love me some Donald Duck, who's very sassy, and I'm very proud of this costume. So I hope you learned something. I hope it was interesting. People ask me a lot of times how I make stuff, so I wanted to at least give an overview of what I did. So enjoy. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up. If you want more costume shenanigans from me, click that subscribe button. I will be coming at you pretty much every week, every Thursday, so stay tuned. All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye.